Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's online lecture on the traditional architecture of North Sumatra. I'm Salmina Ginting, and I'm delighted to guide you through the rich and diverse architectural heritage in this region. North Sumatra is a province often celebrated for its natural beauty, from Lake Toba to highlands of Karo and Nias Island. But it is equally remarkable for its cultural and architectural diversity. Unlike regions dominated by a single ethnic group, North Sumatra is home to a constellation of ethnic tradition, each with its own unique households, structural systems, decorative motifs, and social meanings. Today, we will explore 7 major ethnic architectural traditions: Batak Toba, Karo, Simalungun, Dairi, Mandailing, Nias, and last but not the least, the North Sumatran Malay. Through this lecture, you will see that these houses are not merely structures. They are embodiments of social organization, belief systems, environmental intelligence, and also aesthetic expression. We will examine not only their physical forms, the roof shapes, stilts, carvings, and material, but also the social and symbolic logic behind them. How they reflect family hierarchies, kinship patterns, ritual practices, and adaptation to local climate and landscape. By the end of this lecture, my hope is that you will not only recognize these houses visually, but also understand the deeper meanings they carry and perhaps be inspired by how traditional architecture can inform contemporary design practices, urban planning, and cultural preservation. So the disclaimer is all photographs, maps, and illustration used in this presentation are sourced from publicly available materials on the internet. They are used strictly for educational and non-commercial purposes. I do not claim ownership of these images. Full credit belongs to the original creators and copyright holders. Now let's move our discussion to the reason why we study traditional architecture. Okay, before we dive into specific house typologies of each ethnic group, it is important to pause and ask ourselves, why do we study traditional architecture? Why does it matter today? Traditional architecture far from is far more than just old buildings or cultural artifacts. It is the living memory of a community, a tangible expression of identity that has been shaped, tested, and refined over generations. When we study these structures, we are not just describing the roofs, the stilts, carvings, or material. We are learning about who people are, where they come from, and how they understand their place in the world. First, there is aspect of heritage and identity. For many communities in North Sumatra, a traditional house is not merely a dwelling. It is a symbol of origin, lineage, and collective pride. It anchors people to their ancestors, their cosmology, and their landscape. Losing these houses often means losing the stories and wisdom embedded within them. Second, traditional architecture also reflects climate adaptation. These structures were built long before modern engineering or mechanical cooling system existed. Yet they manage heat, humidity, rainfall, and seismic processes with remarkable intelligence. For example, steel systems protect against flooding, ventilation gaps cool interiors, and steep roofs shed heavy rainfall. When we study these strategies, we see that traditional builders were sophisticated environmental thinkers. The third one is traditional houses are shaped by social organization. In North Sumatra, architecture is deeply tied to kinship system, to leadership structures, and communal living patterns. A house tells us who sits where, who has authority, and how families coexist. Space is never random. Every element encodes a social rule or value. And finally, traditional architecture has strong contemporary relevance. In a world facing climate change, cultural homogenization, and rapid urbanization, these houses offer lessons in sustainability, spatial ethics, and community resilience. They remind us that architecture is not only about form and function, it is about meaning, memory, and belonging. So, as we go through the 7 architectural traditions of North Sumatra, I invite you to observe not only what these houses look like, but what they represent. They are windows into entire cultural worlds. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, now that we understand the importance of studying traditional architecture, let's ground ourselves geographically. Okay, this is the North Sumatra cultural maps on the slide. North Sumatra is not a single cultural region. It is a beautifully complex mosaic of ethnic groups, each with its own worldview, history, and architectural language. This map helps us visualize how diverse the province truly is. When we talk about traditional architecture in North Sumatra, we are really talking about multiple cultural ecosystems that coexist within one administrative boundary. In the north and northeast, along the coastline, stretching from Langkat to Asahan, we find the North Sumatran Malay, shaped by centuries of maritime trade, Islamization, and connection with the Malay world. To the west, in the rugged highlands, we enter the world of Karo, with their distinctive communal houses and powerful kinship systems. Nearby, the Simalungun occupy a region influenced by both highland traditions and lowland interaction. Further south, the Papa, or also known as Dairi people, maintain their own architectural identity, one that emphasizes social symbolism and strong structural character. Now, at the heart of the province surrounding Lake Toba lies the world of the Batak Toba, whose houses with their iconic saddle roofs are often the most globally recognized. Moving even farther south, close to the border with West Sumatra, we find the Mandailing region in the Tapanuli, where Islamic influence merged seamlessly with Batak foundation. providing a very different architectural vocabulary. And finally, of the western coast, separated by sea and unique in their own right, are the Nias communities. Their architecture is astonishing, engineered to withstand earthquakes, built entirely with joinery, and deeply symbolic of power, hierarchy, and communal unity. When we lay all of these cultures on a map, we begin to see something essential. North Sumatra is not culturally linear. It is layered, intersecting, and richly diverse. This diversity explains why the architectural expressions are so varied. Geography shapes materials, environment shapes construction, and culture shapes meaning. As we study each house type, keep in mind where it comes from on the map. Space and culture are inseparable. The land itself informs architecture. This slide is our compass as we journey from one ethnic world to another.